Hey everyone, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and today we are on day 21 of Communication Fest. Top tips for communication, impact, and influence to grow your career, grow your business, grow you. And today we're on, like I said, day 21. And it is what I call love to hate. That's what I'm talking about today. And what I mean by that is we like people who like us or who are like us. So if they like us, we like them. But if they are like us, we tend to like them. If people are different, we tend to think, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know what to say, what to do. They seem different. I don't feel particularly comfortable and I haven't got rapport. And so we want to look at that particular thing. So welcome everybody. If you are listening live, then please do say hello and put hashtag live if you want to make a comment. If you're listening on replay, just put hashtag replay and I will check out the replay comments as well, so I can answer your questions. So here we are. My name's Julie and it's Think, Be, Do Leadership, because we are growing you to grow your team, to grow your business. And that's why communication is so important. And we've been doing we've done 20 days. This is day 21. And we want to look at then, what do we do when we've got people that we don't understand or we don't like or we don't feel like we like or are just different to us. So we're just like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. And that's what we're talking about. So human nature, and probably something, from when we were Stone Age people, is, stay with the crowd, stay with who you know. So we feel more comfortable when we're around people who we know well or feel like they're part of us and they understand us and that we have rapport with. And so we tend to get a little clique. When you're at school, you had a little clique, don't you? Or you have your friends that you feel comfortable with. And somebody new comes in and you think, oh, I don't know about that person. And it's a bit like that at work sometimes. So it's human nature. But that doesn't mean necessarily that we have to dislike people that we're not like. Okay. And actually we need to change the way we look at things sometimes. So it's more easy to communicate with people that we understand. We get that. But what happens is because we don't know people in the same way when they behave differently or when they come at things differently, when they communicate differently from us, or when they have a different working style from us, when we feel uncomfortable, we feel put out sometimes, and then we might avoid speaking to people because it feels like it's a bit difficult, it's a bit awkward, really, and it feels hard. So we don't actually make the most of the relationships that we could have I'm talking business today, but we don't make the relationships that we have in business. We could be anywhere. And so we're missing out on collaboration, on getting to know some really good people, new friends, let's say. But we're also missing out on understanding, what that person's good at, what floats that person's boat, what would make them really motivated. So if you've got someone like that in your team, if we don't learn to understand that person, we can't communicate with them, and therefore we can't actually get them to do the work we want them to do, or help them to learn, or all those things, because we're just not able to do it. So we can't delegate very well either. And we don't enjoy it as much because we've got somebody that we in our team that perhaps we don't understand, and we feel bad. But what can we do about that? Let's have a chat about that, really. I want to talk about it because the reason why this came to mind for me was because my daughter came home from school whinging about some kids in the class, that were annoying her. She always got somebody that annoys her. And we were talking it through, and it comes to light that really they're very different in their approach to learning, let's say. And she's really keen and loves to learn, and these two people were not overly keen to learn and were just more interested in having a good old laugh and messing about quite a lot. And she was incredibly irritated to the point where it all got a bit awkward. And she couldn't see that they were right, and she was absolutely adamant that they have messed up her day. That's a whole nother story, because obviously they haven't messed up her day. She's allowed them to, but not to worry. But they've messed up her day, and they were bad, and she couldn't understand anything good about them at all. And what I'm seeing, though, is that actually, because of that, she's missing out on something really Good. And it's the same when we're in our teams and our business, because later on she said to me, oh, one of them said something actually quite funny, and I tried not to laugh. And it struck me that she's attempting to not like them because she doesn't like the way in which they go about things and the way in which they communicate. So she's decided she's not going to like anything about them. And so she's got it in her head. She's got her fixed mindset of, I don't like that kind of person. Have you heard that anywhere before? I mean, goodness me, that's where a lot of problems start, isn't it? When we don't understand religions and we don't understand race and all those things, because we feel uncomfortable, we don't understand it, so we avoid it, and we don't then deal with it very well, and we don't tackle it, and it feels bad. So we then make something a little bit awkward, and then the trust is gone, and then we decide that we're going to love to hate those other people. But I'm talking about particularly about other people who are just different in the way that they communicate. And in one of our previous sessions, we talked about DISC as a behavioral profile, but it's also really good for communication styles. And that is where we're talking about, do people focus on the task or do people focus on the people? Do we like to communicate, or do we hide? Do we hide behind the email? Do we hide behind a text? Or would we rather be much more social and come and chat with people? And different people would deal with things in different ways. And some people will be horrified by the fact that I love talking, so might be a bit put off by me, probably. And other people will be really quiet, and I might find that really uncomfortable because they're not responding, in my opinion, and therefore I feel uncomfortable and don't like it. And the problem is if I then say they're different from me, therefore equals bad or equals not somebody who I'm going to like, I am missing out. Because what we have to realize is when we're communicating with people and when we're working with people, we're collaborating, is that actually that difference is the difference that makes the difference. Because if I like talking and I like people and I like new things and variety and all those things, but if Bob doesn't like new people and doesn't like talking and doesn't like variety, he likes the steady stuff, he's going to be brilliant for me because he can do all the things that I don't like. Doesn't sound right. I don't like. Yeah. So he might like the odd spreadsheet, for example, or going through the accounts, which I don't like. He might like listening to really long pieces of I don't know, translation or something like that I wouldn't like and I wouldn't be able to focus on. He might like reading really, really long, detailed books, which I don't like because I can't focus on them. And so what it means is if we start to look at people differently and say, actually, I'm going to learn how to communicate with these people. I'm going to learn how to communicate with different kinds of people who are different from me. But not just learn how to do it. I'm going to change my perspective, like my daughter. Is stop looking at other people and think, oh, they're different, therefore it's wrong, and try to validate, I suppose, the way you do it is better than the way they do it. Actually change that perspective and look at it and say, somebody's different. What will they be great at? What will they like that I don't like, so that we can collaborate and together we're going to achieve more. And that's why I called this topic love to hate, because we should love this, because they're not going to steal your stuff that you like doing because they don't like doing it. Yeah. But they're going to take off you the things that you don't like doing, but only if you're speaking, only if you're able to have a conversation with this person that creates a relationship. And it will be different from that of your friends, of course, because your mates are probably similar to you. But if you are able to create relationships with people that are different from you, then you will be able to do much, much more in your team, because you have a wider, greater, bigger, more varied capability in the team. And you haven't got a group of people all same trying to do the same thing, which is a recipe for disaster. Okay, so when we're talking about love to hate, what I'm saying is that we have to look at ourselves and think, how do I approach this? Who am I? How do I like to communicate? How do I like to work and work through problems? And then ask ourselves, Bob, I don't know, I'm going to make up some names now. Bob, Janine, Janet, Terry, yeah, how are they different from me? And how can I utilize that and see them as positive rather than see them as negative? And that's, I suppose, diversity in action in a way, in a small way, but we still have diversity issues in all sorts of teams, not just because of whether somebody is of a certain race or of a certain gender or any of those things, but actually just because people think differently and people show up differently and they want to do different things. So when we're communicating with people like this, we've got to see this as, well, actually, what a great variety of skill and ability and desire and interest that we've got. That means we can utilize this for an even more capable team. Okay, so don't hate, remember, love, and look for the differences, but try to understand them. Go into that person's perspective. What are they thinking? How would they see the situation? How is it different from the way I see this situation? And instead of looking upon those people with different thinking, ugh, it's like saying when I'm vegan, if I say somebody who's eating meat, I'm like, oh, why would they do that? I don't, but I can't do that. They might look at me and think, oh, she's vegan. But instead of doing that, we go, oh, you're different. Great. Well, you eat all the meat because I don't want to eat that. And I'll eat all the veg because I do. And so you're looking at a collaborative outcome, a win-win situation for everybody. Doesn't that sound nice? Yes, I thought so too. So this has been day 21. Love to hate. We have another 8 days left of 30 days of tips. So please join us on the rest of the days, and you can have access to the rest of the 21 days, in total 30 days. We're going to create that. So if you would like that, do DM me and I will give you access to that as well. And if you want some help with communication in your team, if you've got a bit of a toxic team, or you just want your team to grow because they need to step up because you're going to be growing your business, then give me a shout. Message me and we can look at how we can help you. We've got our Confident Communicator program coming up very soon. That's a 12-week program, but we've also got our Team on Fire 12-month program where we grow your teams in your business. So whichever of those suits you most, or you just want to have a chat about how we might be able to help, then give me a shout. Have a lovely day. Take care.